Welcome to Mallory Park, Leicestershire, for the opening round of the 1994 Caterham Vauxhall Challenge. A good field of cars and a close race in prospect, with Barry Bullen lining up on the front row on pole position, with this man, Bernie Wood, alongside him. The second row of the grid sees ex-rallyman Russell Morgan lining up alongside number 19, Howard Walker, both of them from Blackburn. On go the green lights, away they go, a very good start from the outside of row 2 by number 19, Howard Walker. The field all battling for position now as they go down to Gerrard's for the first time on the inside from row 2. It's Russell Morgan, number 20, who takes over the lead through the long right-hander of Gerrard's. Pole sitter Barry Bullen being pushed very wide there, and on the inside the dark car of Bernie Wood making a run for the lead as they come to the S's. Side by side he goes through, and we're on board with racing instructor David Addison as he heads into the S's. That's Barry Bullen just cutting across and taking a position ahead of us, but up to the hairpin for the first time. It's Wood in the lead, Russell Morgan there in second place, hard on the brakes, they swing into the hairpin. Keith Farrance, number 59, in third place, running very wide indeed. Heading now up towards the Devil's Elbow, through it and then over the line to complete lap 1 of 12. Bernie Wood in the lead, second and third, nose to tail. It's still Russell Morgan only just ahead of Keith Farrance, who swings across there in the blue car looking for a way through on the inside. The ex-rallyman though, Russell Morgan, the man from Blackburn, manages to defend that place, and all the time they're dropping back, they're allowing Bernie Wood to pull away, and here they come, down the straight, heading for the S's once more. Farrance through, up into second place. Down to third then goes Russell Morgan, but he's still a couple of car lengths clear of the rest of the field. Farrance now closing up to the back of number 69, Bernie Wood, into the hairpin. Very close indeed as they come into the braking area. Farrance a little bit earlier on the power as they come out. Still third and very sideways that time, Russell Morgan. Fourth, still number 19, that's Howard Walker. And up to fifth has come Paul Milligan, who won here at Mallory Park last year, and he is flying. Leaders now, nose to tail. Keith Farrance looking for a way past Bernie Wood, who has got to try and make his 2-litre Vauxhall-powered Caterham as wide as possible. Out of Gerrard's, back to the Steb straight. You can see how Farrance has dropped back a length or so, and that gives Wood a little bit of breathing space. Look in the background, Milligan fighting his way up into third place. Through the S's then go the two leaders, and Keith Farrance now grimly determined to try and find a way past. They're heading for the hairpin. There in third place now is Paul Milligan. Down to fourth has gone Russell Morgan, but he's fighting back. Had a look on the inside. Milligan shuts the door. No way through then for the ex-rallyman Morgan. Leaders coming through the Devil's Elbow. Here's this fight for third. Milligan versus Morgan. Up across the line. Third, fourth, fifth and sixth. And still in fifth position is Howard Walker, and rounding out the top six as they come through across the line is Alan Stacey. Through Gerrard's, accelerating now down the Steb straight. Slower cars ahead, which may just pose a little bit of a problem for the leader. Safely through though, Bernie Wood laps the back marker on the outside as they come into the S's. So too does Farrance. The back marker heads for the pits. The leaders head for the hairpin, but Farrance has dropped back another 2 car lengths, and that allows Wood, even though he locks up, a little bit more breathing space. Milligan in third, pulling well clear now of the rest of them. Locking up though, under braking that time was Howard Walker. We're on board with David Addison, he's 7th. Up through the gears, heading for the Devil's Elbow. The Beecroft prepared car accelerates its way now up across the line. Howard Walker there, coming towards us under great pressure as they swing through from Alan Stacey, nephew of the former Grand Prix driver. And Alan Stacey senior raced for the Lotus Grand Prix team in 1959 and 1960. Meantime, they're heading down the Steb straight, being caught rapidly by David Addison, number 1. There is Addison, fighting his way now up onto the tail of Stacey. Is he going to find a way past as they come perhaps up to the hairpin? He's looking for a gap on the inside. He's found it. Walker locks up, through on the inside into 6th position. There goes David Addison. Stacey though on his outside, but he has to give best. So Addison up into the top 6 now, accelerating across the start and finish line once more. Down to Gerrard. Addison in 6th, looking for 5th place as well if he can find a way through past Howard Walker. They swing through Gerrard's, and David Addison tucked right up behind Walker. Almost side by side, and now they are side by side down the Steb straight, but Addison's going through. He must have a much more powerful car. He slingshots past on the outside, and that puts David Addison up into 5th place. Here are the leaders, first, second and third now, nose to tail. Wood, Farrance and Paul Milligan has latched onto the tail of them as well. Now Milligan is really flying. He's just set the fastest lap at over 100.2 miles an hour, and he wants to try and get second place away from Keith Farrens, the ex-rallycrosser and the ex-Formula First champion as well. So through the long right-hander of Gerard's, the tyres squealing as these very powerful cars thunder through, and now they go onto the stem straight. Milligan closing right up to Keith Farrens. He pulls out there, looking for a way through as they come into the S's. He can't quite find an advantage though. Farrens cuts across, defends second place, and all the time Keith Farrens, the man from Bury St Edmunds, is trying to get through into the lead. Here they come then, up to Shaw's hairpin. Bernie Wood looking in his mirrors all the time and seeing this intense battle going on for second place. If any of them make a mistake, the positions will change in an instant. The conditions are deteriorating now, the snow's come back, it's swirling its way across the track. Over the line come the top three, still nose to tail. Now who's going to make the move? Who's going to try and move up a place? Keith Farrens wants that lead away from Bernie Wood and Paul Milligan all the time, looking for a way past Farrens. Once more onto the step straight. Milligan had a quicker exit from Gerald's there. He's almost up alongside Farrens, but not quite. Into the braking area for the S's. Still the positions remain the same, and Paul Milligan gets his nose chopped off there. A little bit of opposite lock being applied on a circuit that's now getting a bit damp and a bit slippy. Up to the hairpin. Wood turns through the right-hander. Farrens still in second place. Milligan third, but they're running out of time. Here they come, up across the start and finish line to complete the lap. Milligan again gets a little bit crossed up. Past the pits, and now onto their last lap. It's now or never as far as the top three are concerned, and again Milligan challenges and he goes through. Paul Milligan goes through up into second place. Keith Farrens right on his tail, getting very sideways indeed. So Milligan second. Can he at all catch up with Bernie Wood as they come down towards the S's? It doesn't look like it. Through the right, then the left-handed element of the S's. There's Barry Bullen, the man who started on pole. He's going off, heading for the tyres. Bang! A big impact. Off goes Barry Bullen. The car comes to rest on the grass, but he's okay. He clambers out through the roll cage, jumps off the top of the car, and goes to join the marshals. Barry Bullen out of the race. Bernie Wood very much in it as he comes up to the hairpin for the final time. Milligan and Farrens second and third as Bernie Wood puts his head down and charges through the Devil's Elbow up to take the checkered flag and victory in the opening round of the Caterham Vauxhall Challenge of 1994. Paul Milligan finishes second ahead of Keith Farrens, and this is how Barry Bullen finished his race, off across the friction-free grass and thunders his way into the tyre wall. So after a very hard race, Bernie Wood comes out on top, finishing ahead of Paul Milligan, the man who took fastest lap. Keith Farrens finishes in third place, with Russell Morgan fourth. David Walton fought his way through up into fifth position, and rounding out the top six was Howard Walker. Welcome back to International Motorsports, and welcome to Castle Combe for the second round of this year's Caterham Vauxhall Challenge. Without doubt, one of the closest and fiercest of all the one-make series that run in Britain these days. On pole position in front of a huge crowd here at this bumpy Wiltshire circuit is Steve Parish, the former motorcycle and truck racing champion, lining up with the green VP-backed Caterham there on pole position. Parish missed the first round at Mallory Park, so he's eager to do well here, as is the Jack Brabham garage mechanic Peter Bell, the ex-Formula Ford and Formula Vauxhall Junior driver on the middle of the front row, and Paul Milligan there, who lines up on the outside of row one, as we wait for the red lights to go to green here at Castle Combe. We're on board with Keith Farrens waiting for the green lights to come on for this 12-lap race, and away they go. In comes the power, the cars squeal away, heading then down towards Folly for the first time. Farrens trying to make up places there on the outside of the road, but there's a very large field of these 2-litre Caterham Vauxhalls here at Castle Combe. Three abreast then as they go up towards Quarry for the first time. Steve Parish it is trying to lead, but Chris Metcalfe there right on the inside of him. Parish just nosing ahead though as they turn through the corner. The Titan Airways car of Keith Farrens turns through with a lot of work to do at the moment, and here come the leaders up to the dauntingly fast Old Paddock. Three abreast. Paul Milligan takes over the lead. Steve Parish in the green VP car second, and it's Chris Metcalfe in third, and they're all getting very crossed up. Some of them taking to the grass. We're on board with Farrens. Past him round the outside there came Sean Balfe, and it's Paul Milligan, the race leader, as he comes into tower. Steve Parish in second place. The rest of this enormous field all filing through, and a great diversity of lines being employed. On now, along Dean Straight, down towards Camp Corner at the bottom. Paul Milligan, the race leader, a length or two in it now, pulling away from Parish, and Parish has his mirrors full of just about everybody else in the race. There's Simon Jackson going through, number 11. He started 12th on the grid, so he has a fair fight on his hands to try and move up through the order. leaders over the line and now heading up towards Quarry. Bernie Wood challenging on the inside, whoops, gets it all crossed up, has to back off and try and control it. That's cost him a couple of places, and Bernie Wood, the Mallory Park winner, continues in the race, but after a really big moment. Now this is Keith Farrens also having a big moment, and Steve Parish is challenging for the lead, and he's through. Steve Parish, the motorcycle expert, the truck racing champion, takes over the lead, and Paul Milligan goes back down to second place, or does he? He fights back and retakes the lead as Chris Metcalf now challenges on the outside, and he's going off. Metcalf onto the grass and spin right the way round. Just makes contact with the tyre wall, and Chris Metcalf has thrown away his best ever Caterham Vauxhall position. That elevates Keith Farrens a little nearer to the front, but it's still Paul Milligan backing away with Steve Parish. They come up across the line, heading now once again down towards Folly, and a replay of Chris Metcalf coming in too quickly, too wide and too deep. The back comes out, you can see him fighting there with the wheel, but around it goes onto the grass. The back left corner just clips the tyres. Metcalf can carry on, but he will not be happy about that. Into Tower. Parish runs a little bit wide, leaves the door open on the inside there for Guy Parry. Now can Parry get up alongside? Yes, he can. Bernie Wood there in fourth place, watching this side-by-side battle ahead of him, and Guy Parry goes through into second place now. Down to third goes Parish, but he's fighting back as they come into camp, weaving around, looking for a way through. Out of the right-hander. Up now across the start and finish line. The leader, Paul Milligan, well clear. Guy Parry is second, Steve Parish is third, and everybody else is trying to be fourth. Through Quarry comes Milligan. Look back and see Guy Parry just managing to hang on to that second place. Steve Parish right there behind him in third. They accelerate up Farm Straight, heading towards the very rapid Old Paddock corner, and look at the way now that Parish goes for it on the inside. Guy Parry, who won here last year, trying to defend that place, but Parish goes through on the inside and back up into second position. Guy Parry right alongside him though as they come towards Tower, and Parry's off. A big moment. Steve Parish has lost it as well. Guy Parry shedding bodywork, spins off onto the grass on the inside, so his one-off outing has come to a rather sudden halt. Up to the checkered flag though comes the race winner Paul Milligan. He's made that look very easy with all the battling going on behind him, but who's going to take second place? It's Bernie Wood just ahead of Peter Bell. David Oulton takes fourth place, Russell Morgan fifth, and a recovered Steve Parish finishes in sixth, and somebody else goes off there. That's Howard Walker. He shreds bodywork, but he gets back on and crosses the line. So let's have a look at the results, with Paul Milligan winning from Bernie Wood, Peter Bell and David Oulton third and fourth, with Russell Morgan and Steve Parish rounding out the top six after round two. This is Thruxton for the fourth round of this year's Caterham Vauxhall Challenge, a series that always provides extremely close racing. Lining up on pole position is ex-rallycrosser Keith Farrens, with David Oulton alongside him, the man that won last time out at Brands Hatch. The lights go green, it's 11 laps and a cracking start by Oulton. Keith Farrens there slowly off the line, he tucks it in third place. Ahead of him is Chris Metcalf with the Fairclough Holmes-backed car, as Russell Morgan accelerates up towards the complex for the first time. Peter Bell just ahead of him in the dark green car, and a man to watch in the bright green BP-backed Caterham is ex-truck racing champion Steve Parish. Out of the complex then, for the first time, Oulton it is, in the lead, with this jostling pack all squabbling behind him, moving through on the inside there, number 3, Hugh Mellor, and now they accelerate their way onto the fastest part of the circuit. Oulton then, with a good lead already, over second place man Keith Farrens. Down to third has gone Chris Metcalf, and you can see the way that the two leaders have already broken away a little bit. Round the outside there goes the number 19 car, that of Howard Walker. He's trying to move up through the field as the two leaders are nose to tail on their way back down towards the chicane. You can see there Keith Farrens weaving around, looking for a way through to try and get past David Oulton. He goes on the inside, and that should promote him to the lead, and it does. Keith Farrens comes through in the lead then, with David Oulton down into second position. In third is Chris Metcalf, fourth is Parish, fifth is Milligan, and everybody else is trying to be sixth, it seems now, as they come out nose to tail across the line. On board again now with Russell Morgan looking for a way through on the inside, but there's no way through there. David Oulton challenging to try and get his lead back. He looked on the outside there, no way through. And Paul Milligan going up on the inside of Steve Parish for fourth, or is he? Well, Parish fighting back as they come through the complex. Wheel-to-wheel racing all the way through the field. And David Oulton there in second place, determined to try and wrest the lead away from Keith Farrens once more. Nose to tail then, the two leaders. Oulton using a little bit more of the road there, or so it seems, in second place, trying now to latch onto the tail of Farrens as they come up Woodham Hill towards the chicane. You can see third and fourth very close indeed. Chris Metcalfe driving very well, with Paul Milligan right up behind him, and fifth and sixth, Parrish and Verney Wood also in their own private little battle by letting the leading quartet get away from them. Oulton challenging on the outside line, not really the place to do it. He can't find a way past, and so he tucked back in. Leaping over the curbs there, Keith Farrens. That may well have delayed him just a fraction, but no, he's okay. He hangs on up front in the lead, and as they come now across the line, you can see the top three, with Chris Metcalfe down in fourth, being caught by Steve Parrish. Verney Wood is in sixth, and seventh at the moment, Russell Morgan, as the leaders accelerate once more up towards the complex. Farrens sliding the car there. A little bit of understeer, a little bit of oversteer to correct it, and out he comes now. Oulton looking for a quicker exit there from the complex. They're heading now towards Noble. They're back on board with Russell Morgan. Battle's going on ahead of him now as he accelerates. Farrens sliding the car around. David Oulton right up behind him. And all the time, Oulton will be wondering just what he has to do to find a way past Keith Farrens. The answer is, for one thing, he's got to find a good run through on the inside and also block Paul Milligan, who's right there behind him as well. The two leaders, side by side. Oulton's going through up into the lead. And just look at Paul Milligan. He's going through into second place as they come to the chicane, and Keith Farrens there really lost out. He goes from first down to third. So Oulton leads, Milligan is up to second, and Keith Farrens is pushed down into third place. Milligan runs wider than Farrens does out of the chicane and then moves across to block him. Farrens looking for a way past. Through Allard they go. A big spin there, that's John Sherrington, the Bolton solicitor, having a brief spin. The car comes to a rest, but no damage done. Russell Morgan again, having a quick look round to see what's going on. He's about to lose a place there, I think, as up on the inside comes Guy Parry, and Parry noses his way through. The top three, very close indeed. David Oulton, Keith Farrens and Paul Milligan in the black Caterham at the back of this little trio. Farrens there challenging on the inside. There isn't really room to do it, but he's just about going to manage to go through. Milligan's round the outside. Up into second place goes Milligan, but into the lead goes Farrens. It looked as though Milligan was trying to go all the way around the outside of Farrens as well. He was on the wrong line so to do, and therefore he stays in second place. Oulton, though, drops down to third. Milligan challenging for the lead now as they go across the line. Paul Milligan looking for a way to try and wrest the lead away from Farrens. And the Bury St Edmunds pilot has now got to make his Titan-backed car as wide as is possible. This is the last lap. This is the complex. These very rapid Caterham Vauxhalls giving a splendid race. Steve Parrish there got a good exit from the complex. Milligan had a bit of a moment. Oulton about to lose a place, I think, to Parrish as well. They were side by side for third as they went into Noble. Let's see who's moved through. It's Parrish. Parrish is up into third place there now. Looking for a way through on the inside of Paul Milligan as well. There wasn't really a gap for him there, so once again he's got to stay behind. The two leaders, though, have certainly broken away sufficiently on this, their very last lap, to make it a private little duel between the pair of them. Farrens there, jinks to the inside. He has taken the most defensive line for the chicane. No matter what Milligan does now, he'll always be on the wrong side of the circuit. And Farrens it is then, who is going to turn into the chicane for the final time in the lead. He sees the checkered flag being prepared ahead of him, and Keith Farrens will win for the first time this season here at Thruxton. He does so in fine style. Milligan takes second ahead of Parrish, with David Oulton in fourth. Confirmation there of the top six, just 1800ths of a second separate the top two. Verney Wood and Chris Metcalfe complete the top six, with Milligan leading the championship, Oulton second, and Farrens is up to third ahead of Verney Wood. This is Spa in Belgium for the annual non-championship Caterham race, which has attracted a truly magnificent entry. Some 67 cars were seen out in practice, with the British Vauxhall-powered Caterhams at the front of the grid. Paul Milligan lines up on pole position, with Graham Morris, winner at Zandvoort, lining up alongside him for what is going to be an 8-lap race. Third on the grid is number 11, Simon Jackson, the ex-Thunder Saloons man, with lining up fourth, Robert Nairn. The top six is completed by Simon Duerden and by Magnus Laird. It's go here at Spa, an 8-lap race. We're in business. Looking back now from Nick Carr's car at Chris Metcalfe, nosing up on the outside of David Oulton and also ahead of Magnus Laird. They make their way up the hill for the first time. The two leaders then, nose to tail. Paul Milligan just ahead there of Robert Nairn, the man who did so well in Caterham Vauxhall races last year. He's looking for a way around the outside of Milligan as they head down towards the chicane, and from fourth on the grid, Nern really giving Milligan a tough time as David Walton loses a place there, up on the inside of him. Came number 27, Nick Carr. Looking back from Carr's machine at David Walton, the Brands Hatch winner, tucked up behind Carr. Nick Carr in his Beecroft Run rent-a-drive machine, trying to fend off David Walton, who is fighting back as they drop down the hill. That's Chris Metcalf behind Walton. Now David Walton getting closer to Nick Carr as they head down the hill, but Milligan leads Nern. Third is Simon Durden. Graham Morris going through in fourth place, and there's Chris Metcalf trying to close all the time on David Walton. Make their way down the hill, looking back once more from Nick Carr's car at David Walton. Now Walton has fallen away from the Beecroft machine a little bit as they head their way up the hill once again, but Walton is trying to close. He's pulling away far enough from Chris Metcalf not to have to worry about a challenge there. Now what can Walton do about Nick Carr? They're heading into the bus stop for the first time. Simon Durden attacks Robert Nern on the outside. Is he going to go through? No, he's not. Robert Nern, the reigning champion, manages to keep his yellow Caterham ahead of Durden. They're in fourth place as they all file through as Magnus Laird, and there is Nick Carr coming out of the chicane. We're on board now with David Walton, heading across the Grand Prix start and finish line and down to La Source hairpin. Hard on the brakes, down through the gears. A lot of power from these very light 2-litre Vauxhall powered Caterhams as across the line comes Paul Milligan in the lead of the race, but second and third and nose to tail and side by side for fourth. Graham Morris looking for a way past Magnus Laird. He can't find one as they come through Eau Rouge, and a very brave Magnus Laird with the green car manages to fend him off. Up the hill then, Paul Milligan still being able to lead this race as David Walton attacks Nick Carr. He's going through up on the inside. Somebody off the circuit there. Walton going through on the inside. So it's all happening here at Spa for this non-championship event. Walton turning through the chicane. He's got ahead of Nick Carr as well. And this enormous field of over 60 Caterhams comes pouring through. So Milligan on his way to the bus stop, second and third. Still very close indeed. Robert Nern only just ahead of Simon Durden. Almost gets a little bit sideways. Drama there. David Walton gets all crossed up at a spin. That looked like Nick Carr. Nick Carr with the Beecroft Run Caterham sets off again, having lost a place. He will not be very happy about that, and David Walton was lucky to get away with it as well as a change for second place. Up into second goes Simon Durden, and problems there for Robert Nern. He slowed right down, arm in the air. Past him goes Graham Morris, past him goes Magnus Laird. So Robert Nern, son of the Caterham founder, pulls out of the race, as there goes Walton now with Chris Metcalf closing on him. Drama at the bus stop, a big impact there, 52. Jean-Philippe Dreo coming off worse, and that is a very badly damaged car. He's okay, he makes his way out of it. He's going to have to do a lot of work on that before the next race for him. Race leader, Paul Milligan, second now, Graham Morris ahead of Magnus Laird, third. In the field, making their way down the hill, David Walton there going through in fifth place in the dark blue car, and he too is looking for a way higher up the order. The sun in his eyes as he drops through the right-hander. Very daunting circuit. Spa Walton having a big moment. He's got it sideways. He's off. Round it goes. A harmless moment for him, thankfully, because we've seen some big shunts from Caterhams in the past. David Walton rejoins. Has he yet lost a place? Well, I don't think he has, to be honest. He sets off down the hill. But that was a big moment for him. He is in trouble. He pulls off out of the race. David Walton retires onto the grass. A sad way for his Spa weekend to finish. Now that's Nigel Smith going off all over the grass. Can he get away with it? Yes, he can. He rejoins the tarmac, sets off once again. But another big moment. Looking back once again from Nick Carr's Caterham as he makes his way up the hill. And there's somebody off in the gravel trap there. Now that looked to me to be Paul Milligan's car. Indeed, Milligan missing as Graham Morris now leads the race, coming into the bus stop. So Paul Milligan has gone off into the gravel trap and out of the race. And it means that Graham Morris on lap 6 comes through in the lead. Bit of contact there, Magnus Laird getting involved. He spins coming out of the bus stop. He doesn't in fact spin, but it's left his car looking very broken indeed. Gary First was the man he collided with, as there in second place. Simon Durden slides his way through La Source hairpin, as up to the checkered flag and victory comes Graham Morris. Second goes to Simon Duerden, and third at the flag to Magnus Laird. A delighted Morris wins here at Spa, a terrific achievement, and his car too showing the signs of damage after a hard 8 laps. Morris the winner then from Duerden and Laird. Fourth, Michael Wright ahead of Nick Carl fifth, and Alex Ray in sixth. Donington Park in Derbyshire plays host to the 5th round of the 1994 Caterham Vauxhall Challenge, and in the 4 races so far this season we've had 4 different winners. It's Bury St Edmunds pilot Keith Farrance who lines up on pole position, ever so slightly quicker than former truck racing champion and motorcycle ace Steve Parish with the green BP car. On the second row, Sean Balfe, an ex-single-seater expert, and lining up alongside him, Graham Morris, who won the 2 non-championship races over at Zandvoort at Spa. The third row of the grid sees Peter Bell and David Walton, with the top 10 being completed by Hugh Hayden and Chris Metcalfe, Michael Wright and Chris Strakosch on the 5th row of the grid. Starting right at the very back, Paul Milligan. He is going to be a man to watch after a disastrous practice session. 10 laps and it's go! A very good getaway by Keith Farrance as they make their way down towards Redgate for the first time. Graham Morris, a good start from him as well. He's on the outside of Farrance, and Steve Parish trying to go through on the inside. Steve Parish there looking for a way through as Chris Metcalfe, number 77, goes through Redgate in pursuit of the rest of them. We're looking back from Steve Parish's car at number 1, David Walton. Charging down the hill, Walton, the Brands Hatch winner, in 3rd place at the moment. He'll be looking to improve on that if he can. 4th is Graham Morris. They all squeal through the right-hander of the old hairpin. Number 18 going through, Paul Milligan. He's already worked his way up through 4 or 5 cars, as in the lead is Keith Farrance, the Stansted-based pilot, turning through McLean's for the first time. Then up the hill to Coppice. He leads by a good 4 or 5 Caterham lengths from Parish and Walton, tied together for second. Looking back now from Parish's car in a straight line, he pulls away from David Walton, the County Durham driver, closing under braking. Can he go through on the inside? No, he can't. The door is closed. Steve Parish just able to fend him off as the cars make their way out of the S's and now drop down to the Melbourne hairpin. Hard on the brakes. Number 5, Bart Hayden runs wide. Chris Metcalfe getting shouldered out as well. He runs very wide at the Melbourne hairpin, and this is on board now with Paul Milligan. Accelerating up the hill towards Goddard's. It's all very close indeed. Whoops, somebody off there. 2 cars off, in fact. One right up against the barrier. That was Chris Metcalfe's. And there was another car stationary in the middle of the road. Let's try and work out who that was as they all file through Redgate. Out now, down through the Crina curves. Once again, heading to the bottom of the hill. It's Keith Farrance in the lead there. Steve Parish in 2nd place and now pulling well clear of David Walton and starting to close on the race leader Keith Farrance. Hand over fist sort of closing this. Steve Parish, who knows Donington very well from his truck and motorcycling days, is right up behind Keith Farrance, the ex-rallycrosser and Formula First driver, just in the lead at the moment. Here they are, nose to tail. It's David Walton 3rd, Graham Morris 4th. In 5th is Bart Hayden, up to 6th now, Sean Balfe. Nick Carr 7th in the Beecroft machine, as side by side under the bridge down to the S's. Parish snaking there under braking. Can he go through? Yes, he can. Riding over the curbs, Steve Parish is in the lead. David Walton there getting carried away on the curbs, and all over the curbs as well was Bart Hayden. Ambulance out on the circuit. Oh dear, it must have been a big accident on the way to Goddard's. And now side by side and going through under braking into the lead there, Steve Parish. The ambulance keeping to one side of the circuit, the white flag out all the time as Chris Metcalfe is held from his car. Now that was looking at Paul Milligan approaching the S's, charging overhead of him all over the grass, but somebody, quite who, no one's terribly sure. Nose to tail, turning through Redgate, the leaders. Keith Farrance wants that leading place back. He's right on the tail of Parish. They're diving down the hill now towards the old hairpin. We're looking back from Parish's car of Keith Farrance in the Titan-backed Caterham, looking for a way past. The door closed. Parish throws it into the corner. Bodywork there on the road. Looks like someone's wheel arch has fallen off. Caterham Racing is very physical at times, and they're hitting the curbs. Keith Farrance in 2nd place. Nose to tail, up to McLean's. 3rd, David Walton. They're in 4th place, Graham Morris. 5th is still Bart Hayden. And moving through now up into 6th and going very well is Mike Wright. Out of Coppice. Keith Farrance still there, still in touch with Steve Parish as they now make their way down towards the S's. But is he close enough to get through under? Yes, he is. He's going for it. Side by side as they come under the bridge down to the S's, and Farrance has the better line. He should go through. He does go through. Keith Farrance takes over the lead. The Barrow St Edmunds pilot then accelerates off down to the Melbourne hairpin as again Dave Walton hits the curbs, and there with damage done and a bodywork wheel arch missing, Graham Morris is in 4th place. Parrish tries the outside there on Keith Farrance, no way through. You can see the yellow flags being waved at Goddard's with Chris Metcalf being attended to. Ambulance out on the circuit, and that means that with yellow flags being waved, the drivers have to be very careful going past him. Through Goddard's, nose to tail, Farrance and Parrish still very close. 3rd and 4th, Walton and Graham Morris running wide in 4th place. Now Parrish having to go on the inside. He's looking for a way through. Is he brave enough? Is he quick enough? Is he close enough? Yes, yes, and yes, he's going through. Steve Parrish goes through, up into the lead, and down to 2nd. Once again goes Keith Farrance. He will not like this one little bit. Down they go, into the old hairpin, Steve Parrish leading. Keith Farrance dropping back, whoops, further dramas, 88 gets punted round Jack Newland, and that's John Sherrington, the Bolton solicitor, removing Newland's car of all of its bodywork. The two cars get a little bit too intimate down at the Melbourne hairpin, and John Sherrington rejoins flat last as a somewhat disgruntled Jack Newland walks away from the car. Race leaders coming up to coppice, nose to tail once again, Parrish and Farrance. Now what can Keith Farrance do about getting ahead of Steve Parrish and staying there? We know he's quick enough to get through, but Parrish is a wily campaigner. He knows how to get the lead back, especially around Donington. Side by side once again, Farrance going through. Farrance round on the outside, swings across, into the lead, hits the curbs. Keith Farrance then leading as he goes down to the Melbourne hairpin. We're on board with Paul Milligan, trying to move up a place. Whoops, contact made there. Oh dear. Bodywork smacked him in the face. Round he goes. Well, that was a very lucky escape for Milligan. Side by side for the lead. The Melbourne hairpin for the last time, and Parrish goes through. This race is not over yet. He leads, but Keith Farrance will want the lead back. One more corner to go. It's Goddard. Can he find a way through under braking? Here they come, into the left-hander. Farrance throws the car in, tight up behind Parrish, drifts wide, up to the checkered flag. Steve Parrish wins at Donington. 5 different winners in the 5 rounds held so far this year. A tremendous achievement for the championship. So Steve Parrish wins. 2nd place to Keith Farrance, ahead of Bart Hayden, with Nick Carr 4th. Mike Wright and Chris Strakosch complete the top 6. Welcome back to International Motorsports, and welcome to Cadwell Park in Lincolnshire for the 6th round of this year's Caterham Vauxhall Challenge. Paul Milligan on pole position with David Walton alongside him. Away they snake. David Walton it is, getting the best of the starts with the blue and orange car. Keith Farrance weaving about, they're looking for a way past. Nigel Smith almost clips the back of Farrance's car as they make their way to Cobbies for the first time. It's all action in the Caterham Vauxhall Challenge. On board with Nigel Smith, turning to the right-hander then, and out of Charlie's, up Park Straight for the first time. Paul Milligan in the lead, David Walton is 2nd, it's Keith Farrance in 3rd. The field making their way up the hill now, side by side there. David Walton looking for a way round on the outside of number 18, Paul Milligan, but the door closed. Can't get past him on the outside there. Number 40, Chris Strakosch, the ex-Porsche man, turning through. But Paul Milligan's lead is extending corner by corner. Walton, a quick look in the mirror, sets the car up for the left-hander of Mansfield, along the short straight, heading now towards the mountain. Simon Jackson in 4th place, trying to close on Farrance. Milligan, though, turning up now, over the hill. The car airborne. Walton, Farrance, 2nd and 3rd. 4th there, Simon Jackson. Graham Morris in 5th, number 30 in the white and green car, as Paul Milligan now sets it up, swings through. Ball bends into the hairpin. Graham Morris there, going through on the inside of Simon Jackson. No, he's not, he spins. Jackson just avoids the tyres on the outside of the road, and Graham Morris has to sort himself out. On board now with Paul Kite, flying across the mountain. Kite in the body of the field at the moment, but trying to move up. Approaching Hall Bend, clipping the curve, left and right. A real driver circuit, Cadwell Park. One car in trouble ahead of them is number 40, Chris Strakosch, waving people past him. So Kite moves up a place at the expense of Strakosch. Bouncing all over the curve there, the front wheel clipping them, as Paul Milligan, the man who won at Castle Combe in April, is on his way up into Park Corner. Walton is still 2nd, Keith Farrance 3rd. They really have pulled away now from Simon Jackson after he was delayed by Graham Morris. And look at this, Russell Morgan there just fending off Sean Balfe as they come into Park. They've got Graham Jones right up behind them as well. Very good battle this, all the way around the lap. Sean Balfe right up behind him. We've got a spinner. Off goes, by the look of it, Howard Walker. Number 19, it is. He's able to rejoin. A Blackburn driver having a spin at the mountain. Couple of places lost, but back in the race goes Howard Walker. David Walton still there in second place. Keith Barron's in third. The pair of them, after their earlier battle, unable now, it seems, to catch and pass Paul Milligan. Walton, a very experienced single-seater racer in the past. Really one of the hot shoes in Caterham Vauxhalls, as is this man. Milligan is in trouble! Milligan's in trouble! Arm up, he pulls off, punches the steering wheel. He's not a happy man at all. Well, something disastrous has gone wrong for Paul Milligan. You can see how frustrated he is as he sits in the car, about to make his way free of it. And Milligan, who had a very large lead indeed, has retired from the race with a mechanical problem, no fault of his own. He's out, and David Walton leads. Second is Keith Barron's. Third is Simon Jackson. Oil flag out, and there is the face of a very unhappy Paul Milligan. Nose to tail now, though, Walton and Barron's. Now, has David Walton got a problem, or is Keith Barron's just having one of his demon charges? Whatever, the pair of them are nose to tail now. Barron's looking for a way pass on the outside at Park. Is he going to be able to find a way pass on the outside? No, he's not. David Walton keeps the door closed. Dropping down the hill into Mansfield. Barron's giving David Walton a really tough time of it. Ex-Formula First racers both. Keith Barron's the champion in that category a few years ago, an ex-rallycrosser in the early 80s. Up the mountain, they are about to come. Again, you can see the pair of them using the curve on the inside of the road there. Barron's right up behind Walton. Nose to tail, heading into the last handful of corners. There's a bit of oil down at the hairpin, and that's where they're coming into now. Walton in the lead. Turning it to the right hand there, he's locked up, he slides wide, he must have hit the oil. Walton hits the oil, scrubs off a bit of speed there. Keith Barron's kept his foot in and has closed right up now onto the tail of David Walton. Nose to tail as they come up to the flag. Keith Barron's though with a Titan Airways car up alongside Walton, side by side as they head to the line. And Keith Barron's is just going to win. Across the line they come, out goes the flag. Barron's punches the air with delight, a tremendous race up to the line. And David Walton will be furious for finding that oil at the last corner. Keith Barron's wins from David Walton. The timekeepers are able to separate them. Simon Jackson taking third ahead of Russell Morgan in fourth, Sean Bell fifth, and Graham Morris sixth after an incredible finish. In the championship, Keith Barron's leads from David Walton in second place. Paul Milligan, after his retirement, is third, and Bernie Wood fourth. Oulton Park in Cheshire plays host to the seventh round of the ever-exciting Caterham Vauxhall Challenge, one of the fiercest and fastest of all the one-make series. A host of local drivers lining up for the opening race of the day in front of a large Best of British Motorsport crowd, the man on pole position for the first time this season being Bart Hayden. Hayden yet to score a win in this year's Vauxhall Caterham Challenge. It could well happen today. Alongside him on the front row of the grid, Sean Bell, son of David Bell, the man that runs Fortec Motorsport, and the pair of them set for a keen battle. On the second row of the grid, Russell Morgan, the ex-rallyman, lines up on the inside looking pensive before the start, with alongside him Paul Milligan, winner already once this season, and the man who came so close to winning last time out at Cadwell Park. David Walton and Simon Jackson on row 3. It's a 10-lap race. The lights go green and away they go. A good start by Sean Bell, but an even better one there by number 20. That is Russell Morgan charging his way through into the lead from the second row of the grid. He leads with Paul Milligan tucking in second place as they file through Old Hall Corner for the first time and accelerate now off down towards Cascades. On board with Sean Bell, he's in third place at the moment. Leading is Morgan. In second place is Paul Milligan, and the field all filing now through Cascades, making their way along Lakeside Straight. They're heading down towards the left-hander of Ireland Bend. We're on board again with Sean Bell. Paul Milligan there looking for a way through on the inside of Russell Morgan, and through he goes. Paul Milligan goes into the lead here at Oulton Park, his local circuit, the man from Lancaster in the lead. In second place then now, Russell Morgan. In third, this man, we're on board with him, Sean Bell. And the field accelerating now out of Shell, heading towards the little chicane at Fulstons. Good battle going on there. Bernie Wood right up behind Mike Waite, the circuit specialist with the white Beecroft run car, as out of Fulstons they come. The top three still nose to tail. Milligan in the lead, the field now diving down over the top of the hill, heading towards Knickerbrook, and Sean Bell looking for a way through on the outside, then the inside. David Walton right up behind them. Just look at this, heading there down into Knickerbrook. The field's still very tight indeed. Simon Jackson there runs off across the tyres. He's clipped the barriers. Alex Ray has a big spin. We've got Keith Barron's on the grass and cars everywhere. Well, somehow they all managed to miss Alex Ray, who had a good opening lap there up to Knickerbrook. He's able to rejoin. He continues. A few of them on the grass, a few of them missing out the chicane altogether. Milligan in the lead in the black car. In second place, Russell Morgan. Up to third now, Bart Hayden. Fourth and fifth, Sean Balfe and David Walton. The top five breaking away from the rest of the field as they set off down towards Cascades. We're on board again with Sean Balfe. Bart Hayden weaving around there, looking for a way past Russell Morgan, who gets very crossed up coming into Cascades. And Bart Hayden now a little bit quicker through the corner, looking for a way up alongside. He pulls out there. On board with Balfe, a good look in the mirror, up a gear, heading into Island Bend. Milligan on the limit, pulling away up front. Number 5, Bart Hayden, the man who started from pole position, going through, or is he? He's got the inside line, he's now got second place. Bart Hayden up into second position now, down to third goes Russell Morgan. Alex Ray looking up at Old Hall, he's off, into the barrier, wow. Nearly takes our cameraman out, now where's he gone? There he is, he's safe, he's out of the car. That was a big moment for County Durham driver Alex Ray, as into Druids comes Milligan. Third, fourth and fifth, still very close indeed. Russell Morgan, Sean Balfe in the green car, David Walton with the blue one, nose to tail. And Balfe now looking for a way on the inside of Russell Morgan as they come to Lodge, and also trying to defend fourth place. We've got a spinner, that's Hugh Hayden. Bart Hayden's father spins, whoops, he's been clipped. Well, John Sherrington there with the white and blue car hits him last, but the first man to hit him was Barry Woodland, so 3 cars off at Druids. John Sherrington trying to continue, but that car quite crumpled at the back. Hugh Hayden's okay, he walks out of the car, but that spin, he was then hit by Barry Woodland and by John Sherrington, has brought 3 cars effectively out of the race. John Sherrington trying to continue, but I think that's only going as far as the pit. An effort made on the outside there of Paul Milligan by number 5, Bart Hayden. He's never going to work around the outside, and it doesn't. So Milligan maintains that lead. Hayden still frustrated. He's still there in second position, but becoming very, very brave in his efforts to get past. As there, number 33, the car of Barry Woodland is pushed away. The yellow flag's out at Druids. Another spinner there, that's number 19 going off, Howard Walker. That was at Cascades. Here are the leaders. Almost side by side as they come into Knickerbrook, but again, Paul Milligan just able to make that car as wide as possible. Sean Balfe's off. Sean Balfe there all over the curbs, all over the grass. David Walton goes past him. Sean Balfe gets him back on the black bit, losing a place in the process. Vernie Wood right up there behind Peter Fiddis as they dive down into the right-hander of Lodge Corner. Cloud of dust, somebody's run wide. Finish off the circuit, bang into the Armco. Peter Fiddis having a big moment there, coming out of Lodge Corner. The car rolling out of Deer Leap, pulling off onto the grass. That effectively puts him out of the race, and indeed, yes, there Peter Fiddis pulling off, the man who's been racing in the Caterham 7 championships in the past, having a rare outing in the Vauxhall series and retiring from the race. Now David Walton's car has shed bodywork. That car has got no nose. How does it smell? As they come now through Knickerbrook, he's right up behind number 20 there, Russell Morgan, but Walton's lightweight Caterham certainly has lost a lot of its front bodywork. Second, third and fourth, all very close together, but dropping back from this man, Paul Milligan, who leads as they come into Druids. Third and fourth, nose to tail, Russell Morgan just ahead of David Walton, and the field now coming then down into Lodge Corner for the final time. We're on board with Sean Balfe. He has dropped down to 6th place as a result of his dramas at Knickerbrook, but it is going to be a win for Paul Milligan, number 18. He comes out of Lodge, he comes up Deer Leap. The battle's still going on behind him, and up to the checkered flag comes Paul Milligan. He wins here at Oulton Park from Bart Hayden taking 2nd place. Russell Morgan just hanging on to 3rd with Dave Walton, a fine fighting 4th. It's Simon Jackson who takes 5th position, and 6th goes to Sean Balfe. The cars are on the grid here at Snetterton for round 8 of this year's Caterham Vauxhall Challenge. Truck champion, motorcycle race champion Steve Parrish is the man who lines up on pole position, with the Brands Hatch race winner David Walton in the Beecroft prepared car alongside him on row 1 of the grid. Pilot Keith Farrant, local man from Barry St Edmunds, lines up on the inside of row 2 with the championship leader Paul Milligan alongside him. Milligan having won twice already this season, as Farrant. A 10-lap race about to get underway. Ready for the lights to flash from red to green. Parrish in the green car, Walton in the blue and orange one. The lights will go to green any second now, and then they'll be away for 10 laps of Snetterton. Away they go, a cracking start by David Walton, a super getaway there. And it's Walton who then leads as they make their way down in towards the right-hander of Richards for the first time. Walton then, with the orange nose to the blue Caterham, is in the lead. Steve Parrish tucking in 2nd place. Already we've got contact, that's Guy Parry spinning. The blue car of Simon Jackson goes off in avoidance. Guy Parry, though, suffers dramas at the very first corner. David Walton leads, Steve Parry 2nd, with Farrant and Milligan squabbling over 3rd. And there, everybody else battling behind them. Number 5 going through, that's Bart Hayden, who did so well at Oulton Park, down in the midfield here at Snetterton. Down towards the exit for the first time. Paul Milligan on the inside of Walton. Steve Parrish going around the outside and into the lead, or is he? He's got the outside for the first part of the S's, the inside for the second, but Walton was just able to cut across and maintain his lead. So the County Durham driver, David Walton, leads. Steve Parish in second place. There's a cloud of dust there in the background as somebody has run wide. It's a very dry and very hot day here at Snetterton as the leaders dive into Russell for the first time. Walton, then Parish, then Milligan, then Farrance. In fifth place there is Russell Morgan going through 60th Paul Kite. The field now accelerating up out of Russell for the first time and over the line. It's number one, the Brands Hatch winner, David Walton, who is in the lead. Steve Parish right up behind him. Parish, the man who won at Donington. Paul Milligan, double winner this season at Castle Combe and at Oulton Park in the last round of the championship going through, pulling away from Keith Farrance. Farrance, the local man, falling away now from the top three as Walton, with a little bit of understeer it seemed there, heads through Sear Corner. Sean Balfe, number 7, going through just ahead of Graham Morris, recovering thankfully after his nasty shunt in qualifying at Oulton Park. And Graham Morris there right up behind Balfe. Leaders weaving around. Milligan again on the inside of Parish, who's in the middle because he's got Walton on the outside. Through into the lead goes Milligan from third to first. Paul Milligan goes through into the lead as they head down the Revitt straight. Parish then is second and David Walton goes down to third and hits the curb. That loses him a bit of ground. It means that Keith Farrance is right up behind him and now alongside. Farrance looking for a way through at the bomb hole, but David Walton is just able to fend him off. For Morgan to have a crack back at him on the inside as race leader Paul Milligan on target with the first man this year to win 3 times comes down into Russell. Parish and Farrance now closing on one another, second and third going through. Keith Farrance out of Russell. He's in third place with the dark blue car really battling his way up the field now. Number 38, Barry Woodland, going through, accelerating his way now up out of Russell as Paul Milligan swings into the tight right-hander of Sear. Steve Parish going through, certainly being caught by Farrance, and David Walton, after that good start, back in fourth place, determined to salvage something from today. Simon Jackson going through. Remember, we saw him in dramas at the opening corner when he tried to avoid Guy Parry, and Parry is the third of that little group of 4 cars you saw going through. Milligan into the bomb hole, pulling away from Parish. Parish certainly being caught now by Keith Farrance, ex-rally crosser, ex-Formula First champion. Coming now down into Russell. Farrance thinking about having a go on the inside there. Parish gets a bit sideways, which may well be to the advantage of Farrance, and it is indeed, because Farrance has closed a bit more, bringing David Walton with him now as they make their way out of Russell. There goes Guy Parry through. Simon Jackson chasing after him. Number 29, Barry Bullen, also making his way through. Once more down towards Russell, but the battle for second and third places nose to tail now. Parish just ahead of Farrance. Now can Farrance find a way through on this last lap as they come up towards Sear? Well, Paul Milligan, under no pressure at all, makes his way out of the right-hander of Sear. Down now the Revitt straight towards the S's. The man who won at Oulton, the man who won at Castle Combe, looks as though he's going to score victory number 3 here at Snetterton. But Keith Farrance, a double winner himself this year, he's looking for a way through on the inside of Parish, and David Walton is fighting as well. Into the S's they come. Parish, though, losing out, they make contact. Parish gets very sideways indeed. Keith Farrance being very physical there in his manoeuvre up into second place, and Steve Parish has dropped a long way back now. David Walton all over the back of him. Heading out of Coram, down in towards Russell then. For the final time, Paul Milligan is going to win. Keith Farrance is second, but third and fourth. Steve Parish and David Walton very close indeed. Paul Milligan accelerates out of Russell, up towards the checkered flag. He is going to win, but look back. Bodywork flies off Keith Farrance's car, damaging that brush with Parish at the S's. Milligan wins. Farrance just takes second place. Third goes to Steve Parish, with fourth going to David Walton. Graham Morris takes a fine fifth, and Sean Balfe completes the top 6. Paul Milligan winning by just over 3 seconds. He leads the championship by 2 points from Keith Farrance, with David Walton in third. Russell Morgan is fourth ahead of Wood and Parish. This is Pembrey in South Wales for the 9th round of the 1994 Caterham Vauxhall Challenge. 2-litre, open-top sports cars, all capable of some very close racing. David Walton, the man who won at Brands Hatch earlier in the season, is lined up on pole position, the County Durham driver looking for his 2nd victory of the season. Alongside him on the front row of the grid is number 5, Bart Hayden. He was so impressive at Oulton Park, but he's still seeking that elusive first Caterham Vauxhall win. Third on the grid, the very successful ex-motorcycle champion and truck racing champion, Steve Parish. While on the outside of that second row is David Cook, moving up from Formula Vauxhall Junior, driving the Beecroft hire car. As we wait for the start of this 12-lap race, the lights are about to go green. They do now. David Walton makes his customary very good start and rockets away on the run down towards the Hatchet's hairpin for the first time. We're on board with Paul Milligan chasing after Sean Balfe as they come into the hairpin. Oulton leading. In second place is Bart Hayden. David Cook trying to go around the outside of the ball. There's bodywork already flying off Bart Hayden's car. He loses his left rear mudguard. The field all very close indeed still. There is number 69, Bernie Wood, winner at Mallory Park at the start of the season. Out of the winner's circle though for a long, long time. And it's David Oulton, the Brands Hatch winner, in the lead and pulling away already from a very good battle going on for second place. Bart Hayden just fending off Steve Parish as here comes David Oulton, ex-Formula First racer, ex-Formula Ford. He's dabbled in Thunder Sports and has been a real stalwart of the Caterham Vauxhall Challenge since its inception. Looking back now from Sean Balfe's car, Paul Milligan. Behind him, Paul Milligan pulling out, looking for a way past as they come down Speedway Straight through the King into Honda Curve. Milligan all over the back of him. Steve Parish there, up behind David Cook, out on the curve they come. One lap completed, Oulton in the lead. Second is Bart Hayden, third is David Cook, fourth is Steve Parish, fifth is Sean Balfe, and sixth is the man we're on board with, Paul Milligan, very nearly squeezed out there by Sean Balfe, weaving around, looking up there, Keith Barons, the Titan Airways pilot, coming into the hairpin. He loses a place, 2 places in fact, as Russell Morgan, and also Paul Kite goes through on the inside. David Cook driving very well indeed in the Mike Waite-owned car. Up behind him is Steve Parish. A pair of them nose to tail as they make their way now up once again towards the tight right-hander of Brooklands, but it's David Oulton in the lead. Bart Hayden closing on it now. He's managed to pull away from David Cook there in third spot, and fourth is Steve Parish, the man who won at Donington mid-season. Into Brooklands, through the right-hander. Parish being caught by Sean Balfe, and there is Keith Barons, the ex-rallycrosser, trying to make up time once again after that moment at the hairpin that we saw. On board with Sean Balfe, coming through the King. Into Honda Curve, Paul Milligan up behind him. Milligan, the man who won at Snetterton in the most recent round of the championship, running very wide indeed, all over the curve, onto the grass on the outside of the road. Time lost as the leaders come down to the hairpin, with Bart Hayden certainly closing now onto the tail of David Oulton. In third is David Cook, fourth is Parish, fifth is Balfe, sixth there, number 20 getting caught out. Here's Russell Morgan, he's attacked by Paul Milligan, and Paul Kite gets involved as well. The three cars all suffering dramas there at the hairpin. Well, of them all, Paul Kite and Paul Milligan have come off worst. Kite's white car on the grass, and Paul Milligan, possibly the man that caused it all, able to rejoin, but a lot of places lost from both of them, and this, of course, has done Milligan's championship aspirations no good at all. David Cook there in third place, the Formula Vauxhall Junior graduate, now closing up onto the tail of Bart Hayden, a very wide line though, coming into Brooklands. Steve Parish going through in fourth place, the green BP-backed Hyperion-run Caterham. We look at a replay of the dramas at the hairpin on board with Paul Milligan. Russell Morgan just ahead. Milligan going for a gap that was never there. He locked up, goes into the side of Morgan, knocks him sideways, hits him again. The two cars briefly locked together. Through comes Paul Kite. He's clipped by the slowly recovering car of Russell Morgan. Round goes Kite. He's facing the wrong way. Milligan stalls it. The pair of them have to try and rejoin as Steve Parish goes off all over the grass. Controls the car well. Waves a fist out of the cockpit there, possibly that he's not too impressed by the driving of those in front. Steve Parish lucky to get away with that. Bart Hayden trying to go around the outside of David Oulton. David Cook looking for a way through on the inside. And Paul Milligan fighting back there, going around the outside of Howard Walker. On the limit, Paul Milligan diving down. Bodywork flying off the front of the car. The car certainly was damaged then in that incident at the start of the lap. And Milligan driving at 10/10 there through Honda Curve on the ragged edge, losing bodywork. Leaders, nose to tail. David Oulton, as at Snetterton, having made a good start, but then gradually being caught by those behind, has got Bart Hayden right up behind him. David Oulton there, sliding out of Brooklands, as indeed they all do, has now got to make the number one leading car as wide as possible. Back on board with Milligan, looking for a way up through the field. Closing now on Guy Parry as they make their way once again up towards Brooklands. Milligan again sliding that car. All fired up, driving very aggressively indeed. Opposite lock correction, he goes down the inside into Brooklands. Swings it into the right-hander. All of the road being used, all over the curves there on the outside of the circuit. Milligan really pressing on as the leaders come down to the hairpin. David Cook going for the lead on the inside line. Can he get it? No, he can't. David Oulton moves across there, shuts the door. Bart Hayden almost making contact with the rear of Cook's car. He's trying to fight his way back into second place. The two virtually make contact. Cook runs wide up onto the grass. Steve Parish is now attacking him, and the top four have closed up once again. Oulton, Hayden, Cook and Parish. The order remains the same, but he's getting very frantic indeed. There is Hayden, the car distinctive with its absence of left rear mudguard. In third place, David Cook, again taking that very wide entrance of the corner. A tight line through it and accelerates out there in third place still. He's pulled away a little bit more from Steve Parish, who is still there in fourth. But it's David Oulton in the lead as they come through Honda Curve with Cook right up behind Hayden. Bart Hayden breaks later for Honda Curve, closes to the rear of David Oulton. In so doing, pulls away from David Cook, but Cook very determined to find a way past as they come over the line. The top three nose to tail. Cook trying the outside of Hayden. Hayden moves across, looking for a way around the outside of David Oulton, who looks in his mirrors and thinks, oh crikey, they're right behind me. Into the hairpin they go. Oulton driving a very good race here to keep them all at bay. Bart Hayden, with a length in it now between himself and David Cook, is right up behind David Oulton, looking for a way through at every available opportunity. The Swinton Insurance car of David Oulton swinging its way now up in towards Brooklands, with David Cook once again closing on Hayden, who is slightly being delayed in his efforts to get past Oulton. The top three nose to tail once more. Oulton being defensive into Brooklands. Despite all the pressure, Oulton being neat and tidy, maintaining this advantage now as they come down Speedway Straight, through the kink into Honda Curve, with Bart Hayden thinking once again about where he can attack. David Cook running wide on the limit. Fourth place man Steve Parish waiting for something to happen ahead of him. Through Honda Curve then, the leaders come up over the line. A quick look at the pit boards. The Beecroft run car of David Oulton is in the lead. Up behind him in second place is still the purple car of Bart Hayden, looking for a way through, but the door closed by Oulton as they come down to the hairpin. David Cook getting around the outside of all of them. He's locked up. Can he go through to second place? Yes, he can. David Cook up into second place. A tremendous bit of driving that. On board again with Paul Milligan into the hairpin. In comes the power, out goes the back, on comes the opposite lock, accelerating his way now. The tar squealing there under protest, and Paul Milligan on the limit in a very second-hand looking car. David Oulton now with a bit more breathing space between himself and new second place man David Cook comes down into Honda Curve. Bart Hayden coming through in third place. Fourth is Steve Parish on the limit there. You can see the way that Parish's car got sideways. Fifth is Sean Balfe in the Fortec run car, the green and yellow Caterham there in fifth spot. Parish looking for a way past Hayden. Hayden looking for a way past Cook. Into the hairpin they come. Cook stays second. Parish goes up to third. And Bart Hayden gets bumped down into fourth place, but he's fighting back. Looking for a way through on the inside. The door closed. He takes the grass, but there's no way through. Paul Milligan locking up there, coming into the hairpin. Smoke off the front tyres. Turning through, accelerating off now into the pursuit of those ahead as we look at the top two. David Oulton and a very sideways David Cook. He's lost it. He's lost it in a big way. Off onto the grass he goes. 360 degrees. Cook keeps his foot down and spins once more. That drops him down into fifth place. He's able to rejoin, but it's about to become sixth as Keith Farrens gets right onto the tail of him now. They come out of Brooklands. So David Oulton leads. In second place is Steve Parish. Third now is Bart Hayden, and here they come out of Honda Curve. The fight well and truly drawing for second. Steve Parish there hugging the inside line as they come down to Atchett's hairpin, looking for a way around him on the outside now. Bart Hayden, that is not going to work if Steve Parish has anything to do with it. Hayden though with a wide approach, a tighter exit, looking for a way up alongside Steve Parish. The door just closed in time though by Parish. Sean Balfe capturing them both. This one of the best Caterham Vauxhall races we've had all year. Hayden now looking for a way through on the inside, and he goes through up into second place. On board now with Paul Milligan, charging down to the hairpin, losing a place though as he does so. Both of them lock up. Milligan straddles back through on the inside. Second and third, Hayden, Parish, and then fourth place man Sean Balfe up behind the pair of them. Balfe's car distinctive with its fuller roll cage. David Oulton though on his way to his second victory of the season, pulling away all the time from the rest. The checkered flag is waved and David Oulton wins here at Pembrey. Second is Bart Hayden, third to Steve Parish, fourth Sean Balfe, and fifth across the grass and across the line is David Cook, who takes the fastest lap at over 85 miles an hour. And delighted David Oulton scores his second win of the year, and a fine victory it was too. Second, Bart Hayden then. Steve Parish taking third ahead of Sean Balfe, David Cook and Keith Farrens completing the top six as the delighted David Beecroft congratulates Dave Oulton down in the pit lane. Oulton taking his second victory of the season, and they really made him work very hard for that one.
David, congratulations. You look pretty pleased with that at the end.
Yeah, it was relatively easy. It was tough for the first few laps. Bart seemed to get the best out of his tyres with 3 or 4 laps to go. But my Beecroft Caterham came through, and Dave Cook did a nice reserve action job for me. And when he had his half spin or his spin, whatever happened out the back, it just gave me that little bit more breathing space, and it was in the bag.
They certainly pushed you early on.
Oh, like you wouldn't believe. It was everywhere that I was okay, and except the hairpin, I was just losing it on the brakes. I was frightened. I locked up very early on and really went straight on. I was frightened I was going to do it again and let them through the inside, so it was just down the inside, block the line, and that's it.
The Caterham Vauxhall Challenge has been one of the most exciting of the one-rate championships all season. Paul Milligan has already won the championship though, and it's Keith Farrance who lines up on pole position here at Brands for a 15-lap scrap. Farrance, the Bury St Edmunds pilot, has County Durham driver David Oulton alongside him on the front row of the grid with his Beecroft run car. Oulton, earlier season winner at Brands, looking to make it a double. The second row of the grid sees Caterham K-Series champion Clive Richards in number 85 racing a Vauxhall car for the first time, alongside Jack Bradham Garage's mechanic Peter Bell. The third row of the grid sees Paul Milligan and Graham Morris. Milligan, the man, remember, who's already won the championship, and the second of the County Durham drivers, Alex Ray, in number 2, starts further back on the grid as the lights go green. The cars then making their way up towards paddock for the first time. David Oulton on the outside line there, trying to go all the way around Keith Farrance into the lead. It's going to be a very brave manoeuvre if it comes off, as the cars now drop down the hill up towards the druids for the first time. Farrance on the inside, Walton's orange and blue car on the outside, and Farrance just about hangs on to that lead. Cars locking up further back as they all pour into druids. David Oulton and Keith Farrance then battling for the lead, but it's still Farrance up front. Paul Milligan there, number 18, the Lancaster driver working his way up through the field. Farrance, Oulton, Peter Bell, the top three. Fourth is Graham Morris, and fifth is the Lancaster bomber Paul Milligan. As through there goes number 20, Russell Morgan, the ex-rally driver. Farrance across the line and pulling away as Paul Milligan dives out there to try and find a way round on the outside as they arrive at paddock, and he does indeed go around the outside of Graham Morris. Paul Milligan blasting his way up through the field. He is now fourth, Peter Bell ahead of him. Farrance, Oulton, Bell and Milligan, the top four. Graham Morris, the man who won the two continental non-championship races in mid-season, is in fifth place. Alex Ray about to lose a place there. He does so. Harry Bullen with the Rubicon car goes past him. Ray trying to fight back now as they go to the left-hander of Graham Hill-Band. In comes the power, the car trying to break away. Farrance flips the curve, Oulton still second. Peter Bell, the ex-Formula Ford racer, in third place, and Milligan there drops a wheel over the white line, onto the grass, onto the dirt, raises the dust. Farrance then coming through in the lead, and you can see that Milligan has dropped back ever so slightly while trying to sort out that moment. Bernie Wood, the Leicester driver, going through. Early season winner at Mallory Park. Alex Ray across the line and losing a place. Guy Parry goes past him there. Parry slithering his way through paddock. Opposite lock, correction, opposite lock again. Up the hill now towards Druids. Ray trying to close and trying to fight back. Parry gets it very, very sideways. Just avoided by Alex Ray. The car slithers across the front of him. Contact though there. Howard Walker clips the rear of Parry's car, removing one of the wheel arches. Alex Ray, though, a very fortunate man. He didn't get involved in Parry's dramas. So, Guy Parry rejoins the circuit. His new lightweight Caterham a long, long way back. Here are the leaders, though. The leading quartet all together now. Farrance still in the lead, but David Oulton again tries his long way round at paddock. It doesn't work. He tucks in. He looks for the inside line as they drop down the hill as Milligan moves up into third place now. Paul Milligan challenging David Oulton for second as they come up to Druids. And still, somehow, Keith Farrance hangs on to that lead. Graham Morris trying to go around the outside of Milligan up into fourth place once again. That doesn't work. Alex Ray heading up the hill, yellow flag out. Car in the middle of the road, Trevor Lovell, the man who's driving it. Lovell facing the wrong way. He should be able to rejoin. You can see another car shedding body work. Farrance then through in the lead. Oulton second, Milligan third. Gap back before Graham Morris is now fourth, and Peter Bell in the second of those two dark green cars is fifth. Peter Bell looking for a way now, up alongside Morris as they come over the line. Number 71, Peter Bell, the local driver, goes through up into fourth place, and David Oulton tries again to go the long way around Keith Farrance, and this time he succeeds. David Oulton leads, or does he? Milligan's fighting back on the inside. Farrance there in the middle, just about keeps that lead. Milligan goes second. There's contact as Milligan clips Farrance there. Oulton gets pushed back into third, and Keith Farrance somehow manages to still lead as they come down through Graham Hill Bend with the black car of Paul Milligan right up behind him, and it was David Oulton who lost most there because he has gone from the lead back to third with Peter Bell right up behind him. Milligan sideways as he comes through clearways into Clark Curve. Keith Farrance driving a splendid race under all this pressure. He's got Paul Milligan and David Oulton right up behind him, and across the line they come now. Milligan trying the outside line this time. Oulton looking for a way through on the inside, and Milligan goes through to the lead. A tremendous bit of driving this. Paul Milligan up into the lead. Farrance down to second place. We've got Peter Bell and Graham Morris still battling, and one of them running the wrong side of the curve. That was Morris. Through Druids. Paul Milligan is in the lead in one of the best Caterham Vauxhall races we've had of the year. Alex Ray up into Druids. The back comes round. Not the view he wants of people coming the other way, but Ray able quickly to spin turn the car round and rejoin. So Paul Milligan is going to win. Keith Farrant and David Oulton are still battling over second place as again Milligan throws the car sideways, losing a bit of speed, losing a bit of time. Farrant also drifting his way through Clark Curve. Oulton about to pounce though as they come now up towards the line. Paul Milligan is going to win here at Brands Hatch, and he does so with Farrant just taking second from David Oulton. A tremendous end to a tremendous season for the Caterham Vauxhalls. Milligan, Farrant and Walton the top three. Peter Bell, Graham Morris and Clive Richards completing the top six after the 12th round of the championship. Paul Milligan, the champion of 1994 then, with Keith Farrant 2 points ahead of David Walton in second.